Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. As you all know, we're about to get a new Xinyan to a new event pretty soon, and I thought it's actually a really good time to introduce my own Xinyan build. My Xinyan has been in Friendship 10 for a very long while now, and if everybody remembers the Lantern Rite event, this is actually the character I actually choose for the Lantern Rite event, and yeah, I'm basically been using her as the main DPS ever since the beginning of the game, or until I got Izula. My normal team contains of Diona, Izula, Xinyan, and also Bennett. And yeah, this is a team that's been working for me all this time. Xinyan being a secondary shooter besides Diona, it's just been working wonderfully. So getting to Xinyan now, the first thing I want to talk about is actually her constellations. Her constellation 1 increases her attack speed of a charge in normal attacks by 12% for 5 seconds upon getting a crit rate, and this can happen every 5 seconds. This is really good for using it as a main DPS, though if you want to actually use her as a support or support DPS though, you do actually want her second constellations, and that will increase her crit rate of her elemental burst by 100% and will form a shield of level 3. For C6 Xinyan, it actually decreases stamina consumption by Xinyan's charge attack by 30%. Additionally, Xinyan's charge attack also gains attack bonus of equal to 50% of her defense. C5 increases elemental burst damage, and her C4 actually allows you to decrease enemy physical resistance by 15% upon using her elemental skill, and her C3 just increases her elemental skill by 3 levels, increasing her overall shield strength. Why C2 is really important though in my own personal opinion, and why people actually want this constellation. Just like how it's stated inside the constellation itself, it will give you a 100% crit rate bonus for all your elemental bursts. As her main source of damage for Xinyan though is off her elemental burst, and her elemental skill doesn't do much damage. Essentially meaning with this constellation, you don't actually want any crit rate to actually increase damage of elemental skill, as it doesn't do much besides providing the actual shield. Another essential thing though that Constellation 2 essentially does, it also gives you a form of shield at level 3, and this actually bypasses for the bugs for Xinyan. If you look at Xinyan and her elemental skill, which kind of works like Diona extends the duration of her shield depending on how many out of icy particles which hits the enemy, and Xinyan does a somewhat a similar thing where she actually increases her shield strength depending on how many enemies she hits with her elemental skill. So if she only hits like 1 enemy, 2 enemies, or 3 enemies, or like 1 enemy for example only gains you 197 defense on her shield, level 2 depending on, I think it was 3 enemies, I think 232 defense percentage, and level 3 is 273. The only issue is though there's actually a bug for Xinyan where no matter how many enemies she actually hits, level 3 for the shield would never actually proc. So meaning the only way to actually get the strongest shield possible out of Xinyan is by using her Constellation 2 and using her elemental burst to actually get a shield. Without her Constellation 2 and hitting her burst, that would not gain you a shield, so that's why her Constellation 2 is really important, so you get the strongest shield as possible bypassing a bug and getting a shield by using elemental burst. Another thing it does though, C2 actually makes the emblem face set a lot more viable for Xinyan, but I'll get back to that when we cover the support burst section of her character. However though, if you're one of those crazy people that does actually want to build a main DPS Xinyan, she's actually pretty good as a main DPS on the lower range ranks, but she does get out DPS by a lot of other characters a higher level on. But if you really want main DPS her though, I'm not here to stop you, and here are the options as well. For the 4-star options though, for weapons, we got Lockjaw Sea Lord, we got the Prototype Mechanic, and we also have the Serpent Spine. The Serpent Spine will be your best 4-star option, though it does cost money, followed up by the Lockjaw Sea Lord and also the Prototype Mechanic being her 3rd best option as the main DPS. Any of the 5 stars like Wolf of Greystone will obviously be a better choice than any of these, but since I don't have any of those ones, they're obviously gonna be better and I won't tackle too much on them. What are artifacts though for a main DPS Xinyan? You obviously want to use the 2-piece Pale Flame and also 2-piece Bloodstain for a total of 50% extra physical damage. For the circlet though, you want to crit damage. For the cup, you want physical, and also for the timepiece, you want attack. For the feather and flower, you obviously want crit rate, crit damage, and attack for her as well as a main DPS. And for talents though, the main one you want to focus on is just her normal attacks. And now the main DPS build is done for Xinyan. I want to talk about my favorite build for her, and that is burst support. My favorite weapon for Xinyan as a burst support is actually using the sacrificial greatsword alongside the 4-piece emblem set with Constellation 2, and I cannot stress how important this is for a burst support like her, or just a support. Like to the point I don't even consider Xinyan a playable character, while her Constellation 2, especially in the higher range ranks. Alrighty, now let's get into the nitty-gritty stuff about her artifacts and open the small details. And because the Xinyan concentration 2 increasing her crit rate of all her elemental bursts, as a support Xinyan, you don't actually need any crit rate at all. So all these artifacts, you just always want to go for crit damage, crit damage, crit damage, crit damage, and for secret crit damage as well. Just because her elemental skill doesn't do that much damage, you really want to rely on elemental burst, especially the 4-piece emblem effect set, to just maximize her elemental burst damage with all the crit damage possible, because you'll be gaining 100% crit rate on her elemental burst for the constellations. For a cup, I recommend physical damage. Yeah, for a timepiece though, I do recommend defense. And now into the feathers though, and also flower, the main substats you want to be looking for in this kind of stuff, or all these substats though, for all these different artifact stats though, you want to be looking for defense, you want to be looking for crit damage as the most important thing, and maybe some energy recharge or attack also help you a lot as well, just to really up that shield and increase your damage on that elemental burst. However though, as a burst support, if you don't have a sacrificial greatsword and you have like a claymore with attack percent, such as the prototype mechanic or the sea lord for example, with a attack percent main stat, then in that case though, the 4-piece emblem face set won't exactly work that well with you. And the thing I actually recommend instead the 4-piece emblem face set though is the 2-piece noblesse plus 2-piece of pale flame, 2-piece noblesse plus 2-piece emblem face set for some extra energy recharge, or the 2-piece noblesse plus like 2-piece Silver Gaba for the extra attack, 2-piece Noblesse plus 2-piece Bloodstain or 2-piece Pearl Flame also work wonderfully for the extra physical damage. So for all those people that want to go with support versus Xinyan with no sacrificial sword, the key things though is just 2-piece Noblesse plus whatever you have, either Shimagawa / Gladiators for the extra attack percent, or the physical damages with the Pearl Flame or the Bloodstain. And now into the support build though, so all these artifact sets alongside with the weapon linking all be the same. However though, you just basically want defense for everything else. That's only the main thing. However though, you're still looking for a bit more damage while going for on support. I still recommend a crit damage for the circlet and just defense for the cup, defense for the timepiece, and just looking for some crit damage inside the substats, and just wanting some energy recharge and some defense on the feather and also flowers on the general substats as well. For a support burst build though, I recommend focusing on her elemental skill and also elemental burst. Those are the main ones you can be using, and I don't recommend anybody using her normal attacks all that much. So yeah, that's my Xinyan recommendations. I hope this is useful and been using it for a very long time now. So yeah, I hope that's useful. I've been experimenting on Xinyan with a bunch of artifacts set, a bunch of weaponry. And yeah, with C2 though, Xinyan's a pretty good character. However though, if you're C0, I don't really recommend building her at all, and that's my final verdict on her. I hope this is guided helpful, and hope everybody else is able to enjoy her as well. Have a good day everybody, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.